Welcome back to Unless You Live Hardcore, everybody. I'm Kyle Forsyth here with the co-host.
I'm Jake Ford. Why would you get all southern right there for a second, dude?
I don't know. Just got
I'm
off the
Jake
phone with a
Ford.
Southern fella. I think that's what
Yeah.
happened there. Yeah, I'm not here to name drop, but a Southern fella was on the phone with me,
Oh,
and I think
okay.
that's what
Well, in
happened there
that
for a
case, I
second.
just got off the phone with an Asian guy. Let me
Yeah,
real
do it.
quick.
Yeah. What did he
Let
sound
me
like, Jake?
oh, here, I'll do it real quick. Three, two, one, let's go. No, I'm not gonna do that.
I was like, go for it, dude. I was
No.
hoping you were just gonna do a very American accent.
I'm good.
It's
I'm not trying to host SNL, dude. I don't want to.
yeah.
I'm good.
Just my impression of an Asian guy. Hello, how are you doing today? He was born in
Yeah.
America, so that's just how he
Yeah.
sounds. It's a fun bit.
Pretty fun, dude.
Yeah. Just yeah, just be like, here's my impression of a Middle Eastern guy. Hello, how are you doing today? Same impression for every single race. It's not
Have you
racist
have
at
you ever
all.
seen that video
Just
of that
doing
Asian?
my voice. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that video of that Asian guy impersonating I think he's either impersonating Americans or just like straight up white guys. But he like he straight up like lifts his eye up and he goes, "I'd like to charge that on my credit card, please." I think there's two of those. There might be another Asian guy who's like, "Look, mom, I'm American. I'm trans. I'm non-binary." And he just immediately
Jesus.
starts going into that.
Whoa.
And I was like,
Whoa.
"Damn, dude, he's going hard.
Yeah.
He's going way in on that."
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to watch other people make fun of our culture.
I've heard like a lot of people when they impersonate Americans, they use like the phrase like can I get some bread?
They just think we're just constantly shoving bread into our face. Like the
Yeah.
average foreigner thinks that like an American just stores a loaf of bread in their cheeks like a
Yeah.
fucking squirrel awaiting a long
It's
winter.
hilarious. It's because like every restaurant, it's like a common thing in America for restaurants to serve you bread before your meal, but that's not common everywhere else,
I mean,
you
that is
know?
a fucked up thing to serve right before a meal. That's like,
Yeah.
why would you say? Also, my meal is probably just gonna have some sort of bread with it, or
Yeah.
like I was
Because
like,
I'm American, so let's be real.
yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna fucking let me eat some bread, but let me snack on this bread real quick before I eat my sandwich. I just got to
yeah.
do that real quick. Gotta eat two
Yeah,
loaves of.
dude.
Remember when we were kids and like, remember like how like just the food pyramid, how fucked up the food pyramid was back then, and like how grains were like they're like you should have 5 servings of grains every day, and it's like that's way too much bread, dude.
Yeah, and
And
but
now
I
and
think they
now they're
had some
like
good points.
now they're literally like, dude, bread is poison.
I don't know. I still abide by the early rules I learned in
No, I'm not
elementary
saying it was
school.
all bullshit. I'm saying it's funny how wrong they were about bread.
No, I think they were
They're like,
right.
you got to
I
eat a
think they're
lot of
right.
bread. I mean,
Yeah, no,
bread's
I think they're
delicious,
right.
but it's bad for you, dude. It's hilarious to me now. Like the food industry is literally just now like, dude, wheat is fucking poison. Stop eating wheat. Stop. You're giving yourself celiac disease. Stop doing that, dude. Stop eating wheat. It's
Yeah, I don't
bad
think
for
they know
your
what they're
gut
talking about.
biomes.
I think we need the 5 servings of
I think
grains.
anytime anybody's like overly being like, this thing's really bad for you, I'm just like, I think you're just lobbying for somebody else to be like, this is what you should be eating. That's what it just seems like, personally.
Yeah, I can't trust any podcaster that pushes a diet of any sort because I feel like they're making it up
I'm
for
not
their
talking
own
about
narrative.
podcasts,
I
but
know,
yeah, I
but
know what
I
you're talking.
am.
Yeah,
You
I
know
know
what I
what you
mean?
mean.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of podcasters now who are like, you should follow this diet. And it's like that's like a diet you made up. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're pushing for, or it's like you are pushing supplements that align with that diet or something, you know? And
Or
they're like,
supplements for a
yeah,
company you own. It's
yeah,
where I'm like, all
even
right.
further.
Yeah, clearly you're gonna have some biased opinions on this shit, dude.
Yeah, they're like, you know what you need
But
in your
yeah,
life? AG1.
AG1
AG1.
seems legit. I'm not gonna
I know,
lie.
but it's
AG1
funny.
seems
Like,
fine.
you know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah.
always like something like that,
Where
or
it's
they
like
have their
Alpha
own version of
Brain.
it.
You're like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Sure, dude.
yeah,
Alpha Brain. I think Pete Holmes has one now too called like Magic Mood or some shit like that. Magic Mind. Where it's
yeah. I
like
think
the
so. But he was
nootropics bullshit.
Pete Holmes for a while was endorsing Alpha Brain
He
too, even
was,
for a
yeah.
minute until I think he found some hippie one for him.
I think that one is his, the one that he's currently endorsing. I think it's his company,
Oh,
or he's
really?
like invested in it pretty heavily. I keep seeing fucking commercials with him being and be like, "Yeah, I was in this pitch meeting with HBO," and you're like, "Shut up, Pete Holmes. I don't care about your pitch meeting, dude." He's like, "I fucking crushed this pitch meeting," and then they're like, "Did you take a magic mind?" And you're like, "I did take a magic mind." You're like, dude,
He's like, and that's how I got Crashing approved.
yeah,
Like,
it's like, okay, Pete, sure, dude. I'm sure that
yeah.
that's exactly how that went down, brother.
He's like, I took a Magic Mind, and Crashing would not have premiered on HBO if it wasn't for Magic Mind.
Crashing, the most
Like,
realistic depiction of a struggling comedian. It's like, totally, dude. I crashed on Sarah Silverman's couch the first night I moved to New York City.
yeah, dude.
Hung out with her
Um,
for a few days. Now we're bros.
got that literally. You moved to New York, and then the first year became crowd warm up.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I work for Rachel right now. It's crazy. I did like that
For
show, but
real.
I thought
It
this
was
is the
good.
this
Yeah.
is a it was a great show, but this is the
I don't
funniest
we
part to me
sound
about
like
that show.
haters. That was a good show, but there was
I'm
a
a
lot
I'm
of
a
like
Pete Holmes
un
fan. I'm a
it's
big
it's a
fan. I think he's
good
very funny.
show. It's a good show, but if you're not a comedian, it's not a good show for a depiction of how stand up actually
Yeah.
works.
And
Like
don't
if
get
you
me
don't
wrong,
actually know how stand up works, it's a bad depiction of it, but it's
yeah.
also a great depiction of it at the same time.
And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Pete Holmes' stand-up. I just don't want to see him be a corporate shill for some company that I don't give a fuck about personally. It's
Even that
annoying
new
to see.
Netflix special.
I didn't watch it. I don't really care. I don't really watch too much specials, you know what I mean? I see enough
Fair
comedy
enough.
live that I'm like, I'm pretty over watching comedy at home at this point,
Yeah, you're
you
not
know?
missing anything on that one. But we'll keep moving.
But this is the
Yeah.
funniest part about the show crashing to me. And my old roommate James, our buddy James, comedian in front of the pod, we used to talk about this all the time. But like after like the first few episodes of Crashing, he just like never bombs on that show ever again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he just immediately like starts crushing it and never struggles with comedy ever again. All of his struggles in that show just start to be personal and they're never comedy related after like 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah. That was the
Yeah.
funniest thing where I'm like, you're not bombing anymore, dude. You're just crushing all these shows now. All right. Sure,
Yeah,
dude.
man. I don't know, but we're not here to talk about
Very
crashing.
realistic depiction. Yeah, stand up. If you ever wanted to know what doing stand up is really like, it's a lot sadder than that. Just know that. It's
Yeah.
not a life I recommend to people, dude.
If you
It's
want to know what
fun.
stand-up's like, ask a comedian what stand-up is like, and they'll really tell you.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun in a lot of ways, but it's also not fun in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty
How was your past
fucking
week? You
my
do some
past week,
stand-up this
dude.
past week?
Yeah, dude. Fucking ripping some mics,
Any good
hanging out in
spots?
the city. I went to just like the usual spots. I do need to start checking out like a couple new spots, honestly. Now that I got a bunch of free time, so I'm like, I should go to like some new mics.
You should go check out some like fucking metal shows in the city, dude. That's what you got to do. You got to go find the fucking hardcore and metal venues and hit up some like local metal shows, man, or some
I don't know.
hardcore
I've
shows.
been like real sad boy lately. I don't really
Yeah, you know what would pick you up is a metal show, dude.
hmm. I think I'm gonna go
No,
to a I think I'm gonna go to a Bon Iver concert instead.
no, dude. I
Just
feel
be
like
fucking
New
sad.
York has probably a good metal and hardcore scene,
Oh,
right?
they do. Metal, I mean, that's yeah, they definitely do. I don't know, man. I'm trying to be pretty like laser focused on comedy right now. I'm not really even spending too much time outside of doing stand up or
You got to do some other stuff, dude. You got to live life
I mean, I
still.
am, but I'm not like going to concerts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm still living life, but I'm not doing stuff like that. It's
Well,
also
I mean,
like
just find like a small show, like a fucking $10 or $20 show,
I
like
could.
with some like small bands, like not major bands, just go check out a fucking
I know. I
show.
don't have anybody to
That's
go
always
with.
fun. So I bet
So,
you could find somebody to go with you, dude. You got some metalhead friends.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
You got
I'm
some.
serious about that Bon Iver concert though. I'm going to that, dude.
Ask Connor Mead to go with you. She loves metal music,
I
dude.
know, I know. She's busy too. We're all fucking busy out here, man.
All right, I hear a lot of excuses,
In
Jake. Okay,
New York. We're fucking busy, dude.
I hear excuses. You can make a
I
night.
don't want to go. I also really like as much as I love hardcore music and stuff like that, I really don't care to go to shows that much anymore, to be honest with you, dude.
Yeah,
Not
why?
real. I don't know. It's just not something that really interests me that much. Like I can just enjoy the music and not get punched in the face by a guy with issues with his father. You know what I
You
mean?
don't have to jump in the pit,
Get
dude.
you also don't have to jump in the pit to get punched in the back of the head
Yeah,
at a hardcore
I'm
show.
I'm like I'm literally a fucking meme now. Like at hardcore and metal shows, I'm the dude who stands in the back with his arms crossed.
Yeah.
Like the old
See, and I
dude,
don't
you
want to be
know?
that either.
I
Like
don't
I'm
give a
also like I'm
fuck.
old
Like go
now.
ahead
I'm
and
like
judge
30.
me. I'm 29. It's like you want to judge me for not wanting to jump in the pit? Fucking do it. I don't care.
I don't think
Like
anybody's judging anybody for that, but I'm
oh
just
no, they are. They are at metal and hardcore shows. There's fucking gatekeepers. There's memes of it for a reason.
well, you're a
I
little
see the
guy, Kyle. It's
I
you're not
see the
supposed to jump in the
comment
pit.
section. I see the comment sections on those memes of talking about dudes standing in the back of the room with their arms crossed. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, dude. Who cares? Like, I don't care at this point. Like, where I'm like at an age where I'm like, I'm here to have fun and watch the show. And if this is how I enjoy myself and watch the show, this is how I'm gonna do
I
it.
also
And you
just
can
haven't
kiss my
seen any
ass.
like shows. I haven't really seen too many shows that I really wanted to go to around here, to be honest with you. Not like they haven't really come up in my feed as, you know.
You're probably not looking for it either. That's why,
Well,
you
yeah,
gotta look
exactly. You
for
know what
it.
I mean? Like there was a Norma Jean show that I thought about going to and then I couldn't make it and then I don't know. There was like a Knocked Loose show that I thought about going to, couldn't make it.
Knocked Loose is
Um,
coming through Russell Industrial Center this summer, and I'm pretty stoked for that. I'm definitely gonna go to that. I'm gonna go see Gideon at the beginning of next month on March 3rd, at the Pike Room. It's
Hell
gonna
yeah.
be Gideon, Left to Suffer,
I
Fox
still
Lake,
can't
and No
believe Gideon is
Cure.
playing the Pike Room. That's such a small venue for them.
They're not that big, dude.
I know, but
Like,
I'm saying that's like a tiny room, bro. That's like a fucking
yeah,
100 room, like 100 cap room.
I think it's a couple hundred standing room.
You think so?
I think it's
I think that
standing
room
room
gets
probably.
kind of dangerous when it gets capped because it's like it's just by a
Yeah,
bar.
I think it's probably 200 to 300 standing.
Uh,
If we're being real. I think it's probably around there.
yeah, that's a
Standing
small
room.
stage too, bro. Pike room stage is fucking tiny.
Yep. It's a cool room though, especially to like see bands that you really love. I mean, but yeah, it's Gideon, Left to Suffer, Fox Lake, and No Cure. So it's
Nice.
gonna be a heavy fucking lineup. And I'm stoked for that. I love Gideon, as anybody knows who's listened to this podcast enough. They were my most listened to band of last year. Um, big fan, big fan. Left to Suffer is also fucking sick. They are deathcore, heavy vocal. Like the vocalist is like one of the best vocalists in like metalcore and deathcore right now, honestly, as far as like heavy vocalists go, Taylor Barber. And then Fox Lake is like metalcore new metal. They've got like a little bit of rapping and shit inside there.
Nice. Yeah, I
No
mean, that should be
Cure,
a cool show.
No Cure. I played a little bit before this podcast for you. They're like straight edge hardcore. So here's a little taste. Yeah, so something like that. That's No Cure. They're really good. So I'm stoked for that. But the Knocked Loose show, my wife wants to go to that with me, and I don't think she knows what Knocked Loose shows are like. And I tried telling her, and she's like, "No, I really want to see them." And I was like, "You better stay away from the pit. Like, you're gonna get fucked up,
I
dude."
mean,
Like,
yeah, it's gonna be
yeah, I
crazy.
was like, "It Knocked Loose shows are dangerous, dude." Like, I was like, but she wants to go. I was like, "All right, I will
Yeah.
gladly go to Knocked Loose with you. I want to go to that show regardless." And
I mean, you'll be fine.
I've never been to a show at Russell Industrial either, which is also where they're doing Tied Down Fest this year, another hardcore festival. They did
Yeah.
it last year there, and I really want to see it. Drain as one of the headliners this year.
Yeah, that'd
Um,
be sick.
the lineup is fucking sick, but I want to go to that. I think I will, maybe. The tickets are kind of pricey though, is the thing. And you can only get a 2-day pass.
Oh,
They don't
that
have a one
sucks.
day. Last year they had 1 days, but they only have 2 day this year. And a 2 day is like 139.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
the fuck?
That's why I'm like, I don't know,
That's
man.
a lot.
Like, yeah. But apparently you can buy the ticket at the Crowfoot. If you buy it at the Crowfoot, there's no fees on it. So you can just get it for like that price straight out, no fees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, still, it's kind of pricey, you know? Like,
Yeah,
so
it's a
it's like
lot.
I'm gonna wait until closer till and see if I still want to go and what my schedule's looking like and shit, you know? Because it's a lot. And I'm like, I'm gonna see what it's looking like closer to the date.
I mean,
I
it's
may or
definitely
may
better than
not.
fucking incarcerations festivals lineup this year. Good God.
Incarceration Festival's fucking garbage. And Tied Down Fest also, because it's at Russell Industrial, is right down the street from me. That's a couple miles from me. That's like 2 or 3 miles. So like
Yeah.
it's real close. So it's like incarceration, I have to like stay down there for like overnight and shit, you know? And it's like I'm not trying to do that at all. I have
Yeah.
no
You have to
interest in that
spend
lineup.
time in Ohio
Yeah,
to go to
also in
that
the middle
festival.
of like in the middle of nowhere, Ohio too, is the
Yeah,
thing with
dog
that.
shit, Ohio, dude.
Literally ain't shit around.
Ugh.
Um, so yeah,
Oof.
I don't really want to go there this year. But yeah, with like fucking this one being at Russell, I could just be home in a couple minutes, you know, like 5 minutes and I'm home. Like I'm good. So it's like I might not. We'll see. But yeah, dude, it's a sig lineup. So I'm excited for some shows coming up. There'll be some cool shit in the future this summer. There's also some other big ones, you know, that aren't as metal or hardcore. Creed's coming through. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, brother?
Hell
Uh
yeah, dude.
Limp Biscuit, dude.
Here's the thing, like because I would love to go to more concerts, but I really the older I get, the more I kind of just like a concert that's like from a bigger artist because there's like a ton of production value and it's more just like more than like the music, there's like an interesting show to watch where it's like I'd kind of just get bored at shows a lot of times now because I'm just like tired of just like standing there and watching a band that I really
Yeah.
don't know that much about or like really care about that much.
Yeah. That's why it's got to be a good lineup, or I've got to know the band puts on a good show. Like Gideon puts on a really good show. Like
Yeah.
they're great live. And it's not even like necessarily high production. It's just like they're really good live, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's got to be a band I
and
really care about.
I've heard Left to Suffer is really, really good live too. Which is also on that Gideon lineup. Knocked Loose, I've watched a lot of their live shows. They look like a fun time. Um, and Tied Down Fest, like I saw a lot of videos and shit from last year's festival at Russell, and it looked like a blast, man. It looked like a
Yeah,
fun time. And I know a lot of people who went to it too, and everybody was like, it was so much fucking fun. Like I heard like just rave reviews about it last year where I'm like, damn, seems fun, dude. And it's all hardcore bands, you know. A lot of the bands are just like hanging out throughout the day and stuff at Russell, like at their merch booths or just watching the shows, you know. So it's like a lot of times you can just meet these bands just hanging around and shit. So,
definitely. I mean, that's sick as
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. There's certain ones where it's like also it's like with a festival like that with a massive lineup, it's like I'm sure I'm gonna discover bands and all like there'll be bands that I don't give as much of a fuck about, you know, but then there's gonna be like bands that are gonna rip, you know, and I'll be like, oh shit.
They need to bring back Warp Tour, but make it 18 and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, funny enough, I saw a video recently of Franz from Attila talking about he was trying to buy Warp Tour from Kevin Lyman. And Kevin Lyman was like somewhat interested in it, but was like, I don't know. I don't want to do it right now. I don't think it's the time yet. And yeah, Franz is like really serious about it. Like he's
I
like
mean, that'd be sick.
not jokingly, like he seemed really serious
He
about
seems
actually
like the
wanting to do
wrong
it.
guy to have
Yeah,
control
for
of it.
sure. For
He's
sure.
the
I
whole
thought
point
so
of me
too.
saying we need to bring it back, but have it be 18 and up event is because there was such a problem with
With
fucking creepy
underage.
dudes and
Yeah.
underage girls. I'm like,
He's the one who
bring back Warp
admitted to
Tour,
doing
but have
that.
it be
Yeah.
only an adult event.
Yeah. What I saw,
No
it was
fucking
funny.
pop punk bands, dude. No
I
pop
saw like
punk bands with their
Franz being
creepy
like,
fucking frontmen, dude.
dude, I saw Franz being like, yeah, I want to bring it back. And I was like, I don't know that you're the guy.
No.
Like, I was
You might have the money
like,
and the power to
yeah.
do so, but you're the wrong guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Um,
abuse that power.
yeah, I would love to see it come back in some form. But apparently even what uh what Franz said in that little interview clip that I saw is Kevin Lyman said if they bring it back, they in they sort of talked about it, I guess, already, is the way they do it is they would reduce the number of dates overall. They would do like less dates so it
Yeah.
wouldn't be as much money. Because like Kevin Lyman would lose money on a lot of those shows, like because they did so many dates on it. But it's like if they reduce the number of dates that they're doing and increase the ticket prices a bit, then they could actually make it profitable, you know? And so they're like, if we do it, we're going to do fewer dates and people are just going to have to travel to the ones that aren't in their state or something, you know, if they want to come to it. So,
Um,
so like we'd pick bigger markets, I guess. So like we'd pick bigger
yes.
markets and not as many of the small markets that lose money.
You said doo-doo, and I totally get what you mean. And from a business standpoint, yeah, they should increase ticket prices a little bit and do less dates. Because it's also just from like, dude, from a fucking like logistical standpoint, from a as a band, it's like you're killing yourself on that tour.
Yeah. It
Like
was also
you're
like from a
killing
promoter
yourself.
standpoint.
Yeah.
The promoters were the ones who were like Kevin Lyman was the one who like on some of those dates he was losing a couple mil.
I'm sure overall he made profit. I'm sure he's fine.
I guess maybe, but like I guess like on some of that's like that's kind of why they stopped doing it though, is because it was like losing money regularly in certain cities, you know, and so like overall it wasn't very profitable. Even what was profitable overall, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really enough to justify the work that was put in, you
I mean, I
know.
could see that, but I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure he wouldn't have kept doing it all those years if he was just losing his ass every year.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he did.
Plus he's
I
got
mean,
like a
he
net
that
worth
dude
of
did
like a
have
few
like
mil.
that dude Kevin Lyman did have a huge passion for it though too. Like you got to
Yeah,
take that into
Kevin
consideration.
Lyman's the fucking man, dude.
Yeah, he had a passion for what he was doing, man. And
Yeah.
yeah. Now he's one of the owners of the co-owners of the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
No, but I can't think of anything less punk rock than making a museum about it.
Yeah, they have the Punk Rock Museum. He's one of the owners of it. And then there's also a tattoo shop upstairs at the Punk Rock Museum, which is pretty cool. And they have a bunch of flash of like punk band shit, like flash sheets of like just random shit you could get. But you could also just get custom tattoos. But they have a ton of like punk band flash stuff. And they have like a bunch of memorabilia from and like instruments and just random shit from all these like punk artists from over the years and everything from like the originators of punk all the way up until like some modern day bands. So
That's pretty sick.
yeah, it's something that would be cool to check out at some
I
point.
don't know, I would never go to like the Rock and Roll Museum or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in fucking what is it? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum in Cleveland or whatever. Heard it's like
Yep.
so fucking overrated, dude.
I went there once when I was like 16. We went with like my family. We were on a trip and we stopped there along the way or something. Ashley and I considered going there at one point and they were closed that day. And then I was in Cleveland for something else on like another for like a show one day and I had like some extra time during the day and I considered going there and I looked at the price of it and it was like fucking like $60 or something. I was like, no,
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
not. I was like, I'm good.
$60.
I think it might have even been more than that. Like, I was like, no, fucking no, not worth it. Like, I had been there once before, and they do have some really cool shit in there. Like, they have the old like marquee banner that was over CBGB and stuff. Like, they have some really cool shit in there to like really awesome stuff. But they also have a lot of bullshit in there.
Okay,
So I don't know.
nice.
It's cool, but it's not. It's like it's fun for a one time
Yeah,
thing,
this is the rope that this is the
Don't even make.
This is the rope that Jimmy Page used to
I
kidnap that 14-year-old girl he brought on the road with him. This is pretty fucking sweet, right, guys?
Yeah, I don't think it's like that,
Little
but
piece of rock and roll history for you guys.
they got fucking Elvis outfits and stuff, whatever. But they have different sections, like, and they have like it really runs the gamut of like genres. It's really not just rock and roll. They've got, R&B and hip hop artists in there, and like they've got like classic rock. They've got stuff back to like fucking like Elvis and stuff, all the way up to like Blink 182 and whatnot. It's like it kind of runs the gamut of what, they've got some new metal stuff in there from my memory. But yeah, like it's like a lot of different shit in there. But it yeah, I think it's worth going one time
We
maybe,
got
and
a
then after
wax
that you're fine.
sculpture of Elvis, Mary, and Priscilla when she was 14.
You got you got to keep taking it to this place. You
Hey
keep taking
man,
it to
that's their
teenagers.
history. I'm just quoting history, man. Rock and
Yeah.
rolls. Cool, dude. Classic rock.
Oh yeah. There's some dicey parts of rock history.
Yeah.
But there's some dicey parts of all music
What do you
history.
think
Let's be real.
AC/DC wrote that song Highway to Hell about? They went on tour with Led Zeppelin and they were like, dude, you guys gotta chill.
An AC/DC Led Zeppelin tour would be wild.
I'm sure it'd be fun.
That'd be so weird.
Yeah, it's probably be debaucherous.
That I don't even know about that. It would just be like a weird lineup. Like, what's like the weirdest lineup you think you've ever seen? Like opener paired with headliner.
Off the top of my, I thought off the top of my head, I always thought this was a weird tour. I thought about going, but it was Taking Back Sunday and Every Time I Die co-headlining. And
Yeah,
I was
it's a
like,
little
that's
odd, but
really odd.
I
I mean, they're both like New
they're both
York bands, New York
they're
State
both
bands.
popular in the same era too.
Yeah, and they're like bros, but it's just an odd show. Like
It's
the
also like
juxtaposition of the sound would be weird.
the sounds are different, but I also think like it could work as long as Taking Back Sunday went first. If that makes sense, like because they're not as
Yeah,
heavy
but
as
they're
Every
not
Time I
going
Die.
to because they're so much
No.
bigger.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. It's like
If I was
once you
Every
have
Time I
every
Die, I'd be like, we're going first because every half the crowd's gonna fucking leave when you
yeah,
guys are done playing.
yeah, so that's tough. I think the weirdest one I ever saw was so Kiss was touring. I saw them with my dad at what
Yeah.
was DTE Energy at the time, Energy Theater or whatever. Now it's Pine Knob again. But I saw them there. And at the time, Gene Simmons had just signed like his first band to his label that he had at the time. Like Gene Simmons started a label and signed this band to the label. They were called The Envy. All right. And they were kind of like alternative rock, if you will. And so I think to pair with that, instead of pairing something with Kiss, they paired a band with the opener, kind of with the Envy, and the other band that was the opener for Kiss was the Academy Is.
Oh, that's super weird.
Yeah, right.
I used to love the Academy is, but that's a weird.
It's such a
Yeah.
weird one. It was like two alt bands, like in this band, The Envy, nobody knew who they were because like they were only on tour because Gene Simmons just signed them. Like that was the reason they were touring with them. It wasn't because people knew who they were. Like,
One that's
and
been weird is like Ice Nine Kills has been touring with Metallica a lot recently, and I'm like, I can't see Metallica fans really enjoying Ice Nine Kills, to be honest with you.
I think they might, honestly. I
Like a
think they might,
younger Metallica fan. I don't think a
yeah.
boomer Metallica fan, like a guy who grew up with Ride the Lightning, is gonna be like, yeah, I really like this like screamo horror band.
I think you'd be surprised how many boomers are into Ice Nine Kills. If I've learned anything from that incarceration Facebook group and from like going to Comic Cons and shit, you see a lot of like older people wearing Ice Nine
Maybe their
Kills.
niche is like corny enough that
It
boomers are
is.
attracted
It
to it.
is.
Is
And
that
it's
what it
because they
is?
also are in like the horror community. They're not just in like the metal and rock community.
Ah,
They permeated horror culture now, where
fuck.
like, yeah, so like they're massive because of that. And like if you think about it, most metalheads like horror movies. Like it's just something
Yeah.
there, you know? And
Oh
so like
yeah. Speaking of which, no,
but
I'm sorry. Keep
they've
going.
managed to find this niche, and because of that I see a lot of people who look like late 30s in their 40s maybe like wearing Ice Nine Kill shirts on a regular basis, dude. Like they're really popular. They're fucking huge, man. So
I
like
know they're
I
big, but I
that
don't
one I
know.
don't think is like super crazy. Also, like I think they're also played on like Sirius XM rock and metal stations and stuff that like these people who listen to Metallica and hear them on like Sirius XM are probably also hearing Ice Nine Kills too, you know?
Sure.
Even if
Speaking
they're not
of
fans, it fits, I think.
Yeah, speaking of
And
horror
they
movies
love
though,
okay. Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say one more
I
thing about
did
video games.
watch. Well, first of all, I watched the new Thanksgiving movie, which we can't talk about yet because you have not watched it. I literally resubscribed to Netflix just to watch that movie for a month. So I was like, all right, you got me. I've been wanting to watch this fucking stupid
You should
movie.
have just hit me up, dude. I have my own Netflix account. I would have just added you to it and let you use it.
How I thought they got rid of password sharing.
No, you can share up to like one other device or whatever. Or like two locations or
Oh,
something. Yeah.
well then give me your password and I'll start using it next month.
All right.
Because I
Yeah.
would
Just let me
I've been
let me know when
using
yours is
I've been
done and
using
hit
some
me
of the
up.
free services because it's just like half the fucking ones you got to pay for. Like the base plan just includes ads anyways. So why not just use these free ones that are just ads services?
Ashley and I recently got our own Netflix because they Netflix added ads, and my mom we used my mom's for a long time just because like she was letting us, so we were like fuck it, and then my mom is cheap and was like like didn't pay for the no ads
Yeah.
version, and I hit my mom up. I was like, yo, if I cash app you like the remainder, will you just get the no ads version or something? I was like, I'll pay for it if you don't want to pay for it, and then my mom was like, if you want to, and Ashley was like, no, we'll just get our own fucking Netflix, Kyle. She's
Yeah,
like, don't
just get your
cash
own
app your mom.
Netflix.
She's like, don't cash app your mom the remainder.
You
She's like, we'll
are
just get
almost
our
a
own.
30-year-old man. You probably shouldn't be on your mom's Netflix account, dude.
Oh, you want to talk about we were talking about movies. So let's talk about this one. This is a sort of a horror movie adjacent kind of thriller more so than anything. The internet is just now learning how much Fred Durst's last movie made. So I don't have you haven't seen Fred Durst's last movie, did you, Jake? The Fanatic with John Travolta.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So it stars John Travolta, and then the he's obsessed with like this celebrity in the movie, basically. John Travolta literally is a mentally challenged guy, and he went full retard for it. Like it's the alarm. He has like a mullet in it that's like shaved on the sides, dude. And he went full in as like an autistic stalker in this movie, is what he plays, okay? Um
Okay.
the person who he's
So a
obsessed with.
stalker.
Yeah, but
I'm kidding.
like
I'm kidding.
he goes he goes like full retard where you're like, oh damn, dude, like you went full in, like, like
Yeah, that's not
yeah,
good,
it's like,
dude.
yeah, like where like you watch it and you're like, this feels like you shouldn't be doing this role actually.
Yeah, this is
Like,
offensive, dude.
yeah, like it literally is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. And the celebrity that he's obsessed with is played by the actor Devon Sawa. Do you know Devon Sawa?
Think so. It sounds
Big in
familiar.
like the 90s and stuff. He was in like Idle Hands and whatnot. Um,
Okay.
but regardless, John Travolta's character becomes obsessed with the guy. Literally, that's why it's called the Fanatic. And he's like stalking this dude. And it ends in like murder. It's fucking weird, but apparently the box office for what it made in the box office just came out. Oh, what's hilarious is so Fred Durst has directed this movie. He's directed two other movies, and then one other thing. He directed The Education of Charlie Banks in 2007, The Long Shots in 2008, and then in 2014 an eHarmony commercial, which is pretty great.
It is weird.
Uh yeah, but it's like I think a lot of people direct commercials because it's a cash grab, you know? Like it's a quick
Yeah.
cash grab, and it's usually like a 1 week shoot or something like that. Like
Usually like a 1 day shoot. It's usually quick.
sometimes 1 day to 1 week depending. Uh what's his face? Neil the comedian. Neil Brennan.
Brennan.
Yeah, Neil Brennan. He has directed a shit ton of commercials, and he's talked about it. He's like, I've had the chance to direct a full length feature film. He did The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard.
Mm.
Um, and he's like, and I didn't enjoy the experience. He's like, you spend years making this project for it to come out and then possibly not get critically received well. He's like, when you feel that you made a great product and you're very proud of what you did, and then just some people get to say, no, we don't like it. And then so it bombs. And he's like, and it sucks. He's like, it's not rewarding. He's like, it's not rewarding to make a project like that. He's like, I don't enjoy creating TV shows anymore. He's like, I'll direct episodes of TV shows now and again. Like he's directed some episodes of New Girl and shit like that. But Neil Brennan's done a shit ton of commercials. Like he's directed a lot of commercials. He's like, I enjoy doing commercial directing because it's quick projects and it's a great payday. Um, so that's sort of how I learned about commercial directing being very lucrative. So I'm guessing in 2014, Fred Durst needed a little payday, and so he took an eHarmony commercial. Anywho, the box office was released for The Fanatic, the movie with John Travolta and Devon Sawa. Do you want to guess how much you think it made in the box
I don't know, like
office?
25 grand,
Lower,
17 grand,
lower,
$200,
higher,
1,000.
higher.
I don't know, man. Just tell me. I'd guessed three times already.
$3,000.
That's not good. How many theaters was it in?
Not enough, apparently. I don't know. But dude, it made $3,000 in the box office. Isn't that fucking insane?
It's pretty low.
That's horrible. It's so bad. That's crazy though. But the movie is it's on Amazon Prime. If anybody has Prime, you can watch it. It's called The Fanatic. It's honestly a fun watch if you want to take some edibles or get
This
drunk
is
or
the one
something and
where
watch
John
it.
Travolta's retarded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
I
Can't believe that
recommend it.
didn't can't believe that didn't take off in the box office. Did you
Directed
watch
by
it?
Fred Durst.
It's
Yeah,
a good movie?
Drew Campbell. No. Drew Campbell and I watched it. We got drunk at my apartment and watched it one night. And it's a fun watch. There's like some weird like animated like art stuff like in between certain like scenes or whatever. And these animated art things are all drawn and animated by Wes Borland. So like Wes Borland, like the guitarist of Limp Bizkit, has some of his art inside this movie that's animated, these like weird little in between shots or something.
Yeah.
Um, which is kind of cool to see, and it's very Wes Borland looking. Like if you've seen like the art on his amps and stuff like that on his live, like when they play live, you're like, oh yeah, that looks like his shit. It's a fun watch just because it's so absolutely unhinged where you're like, what the fuck? What is going on here? Like, we're just like, this is wild choices across the board.
What
Like,
can you watch it on?
Amazon Prime.
I don't have it.
Uh, it's a fun watch. Just because like it's so crazy to see John Travolta playing this role where you're like, what is he thinking doing this? Like, um, yeah, watching an actor, you know, go fully in on playing somebody with a mental disability and like just fully going for it. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Like this feels like a bad idea on paper. Why would you execute this? But yeah, it's a thriller more than anything. And it's not good, but it's fun. So I recommend it. If you have Amazon Prime, you know, have some drinks or take an edible, have a good time and watch this movie and understand it's not a great plot. It's not the best done movie, but it's a fun watch. It's also interesting knowing that Fred Durst directed it. And there's one song where there's one part where Devon Sawa, his character, like the who plays a celebrity in the movie, is driving down the street in like his vehicle and it starts playing a Limp Bizkit song
Oh
like
my
on his
God.
yeah, so literally they did put a Limp Bizkit song in there and it's like it's a deeper cut. It's not like one of the main songs or something. It's not like one of their hits. It's like a deeper cut. And I was like, man, Fred Durst was like, I'm gonna weasel in a Limp Bizkit song into here. He's like, he's driving in the car right now would be an opportune time. He's listening to Limp Bizkit in the car.
You know what I do when I
So
drive around in my car? Fucking listen to my music.
yeah, like, I do love that he shoehorned a Limp Bizkit song in. I was wondering if he was going to, because I was like, I don't see how it's gonna fit. And then like
Yeah.
he gets in the car and turns on the car, and Limp Bizkit is playing, and I was like, I see how he made it fit. I was like, he shoehorned it in.
Sounds like a Oscar worthy flick. I'll check it out.
It's an interesting flick. It's very weird. So yeah, I highly recommend checking it out if you have Amazon Prime. Just to see John Travolta's performance, honestly. That's what's worth it for me is seeing John Travolta really go for it, because he like plays like a nerdy dude who hangs out at comic book stores, and he's like, I'm so obsessed. I need new comic books. I like it's like, what are you doing, dude? Like his impression of like a mentally challenged person is like, dude, like what the fuck?
Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm retarded.
He's like literally like, yeah, it's
Oh
like
my
he met
god,
like
my brain, it's not working anymore. It's just not. Oh,
it's like he met one
oh.
mentally challenged person, or he looked up a video of a mentally challenged person. It was like, this is my impression. Like saw one video and ran with it or something,
Oh my god.
like
Can't do math. Oh my god.
yeah. I think John Travolta saw the script and was like, this is my Forrest Gump.
You know, like my retarded John Travolta impression?
Yeah. It's is that you doing fucking John Travolta in Grease
It's
if he was
Travolta impersonating a retarded guy. Like he just doesn't even change his voice.
I was gonna say it was Travolta in Grease pretending to be mentally challenged. That's how it felt. It felt like you're doing like Travolta in Grease.
I was
What is
just
this
doing that
character's name?
classic Travolta. I don't Danny Zuko.
Danny Zuko, if he got hit in the head.
Oh my god. Fucking retarded, mom. Mom, I'm retarded. It's kind of fun.
All right, yeah.
It's fun. Just trying to get more bits going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know. That's the bit. Maybe it
Any
is.
any bit.
Any bit? Yeah.
Any
I
bit.
don't know, dude. Um, yeah. It's a weird movie. Check it out. Um, what else? Another rock news, dude. Linkin Park is gonna be releasing they're gonna be putting out an unreleased song featuring Chester Bennington on vocals. So they have another song locked and loaded. So the first one they put out was from like the Hybrid Theory sessions, though, like their early album, you know. And this one is from the One More Light sessions, which was like 2017. So it's a different era of Linkin Park, you know. Um, which will be interesting, I guess, because the first one was like a Hybrid Theory song, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, and this one's called Friendly Fire, and it's from the One More Light era, which is like further down the line by a decent amount of time. Or no, I'm sorry. The first one was from Meteora. And that one was lost. So it wasn't from Hybrid Theory. My bad. It was from the album after Hybrid Theory. But this next one's from One More Light. I don't know. And they released like a snippet of it, I guess.
Wouldn't it be funny if like the lyrics were just kind of a I mean, not that most of his lyrics weren't alluding to the fact that he was suicidal, but what if these were just like outwardly suicidal lyrics in this? I'm gonna do it. Gonna fucking do it, guys.
Oh, here, I'll play
That'd
the
be
little
kind of fun,
snippet.
right?
I don't know if it would be
Be
fun.
kind of fun, dude.
I think we already, yeah, like you said, we already have those lyrics there, unfortunately. There's a lot of that already there when you look back on the past lyrics of
Yeah, but
like the
if
shit he
these were
said.
just like straight up like I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
It's a dark take on what you want it to be.
Not that I want it to be that. It's just it'd be kind of funny.
Song's called
Check
Friendly
out this
Fire.
unreleased song after all these years, and it's
It's
just
called
like
Friendly
him
Fire, and
being really sad.
he's like, it's friendly fire on myself. Like
Yeah.
that's the fucking lyrics.
Put this gun in my mouth at night.
That's what I call it.
I don't know why
Friendly
I made
fire.
I don't know why I made Chester Bennington into a like pop punk guy right there, but
Here, let's hear the
you get
snippet
my
that they
point.
released.
God, why is
There's a
that
little more.
so
It's
fucking
loud
poppy,
because
man?
it's I don't know. It's an Instagram. It was posted on Instagram. That's why it's so loud. I can't adjust the volume, but here there's a little more. It is from like 2017 when they were going more poppy though, you know? Like One More Light was a much
Mm.
more poppy album, right? Am I crazy on
Yeah,
that?
no, it was. It was. You're right. But
Well,
still.
they literally had a song with Pusha T and Stormzy on this album.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What? So One More Light was the big song off this album. Literally the main track. Let's find the chorus here.
Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do.
This is like the fucking
I
title track.
forgot to refill my prescription.
Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a
Yeah, it's like it's a very poppy album, clearly. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not surprising that it's a very poppy song. Literally, the description of it says on Apple Music, it's easy to think of One More Light as Linkin Park's pop album. That's the beginning sentence.
I mean, it is their pop album.
Yeah. This is not only is
Um,
it their mellowest, but it's the one
I
where
mean,
they sound most
does this
relatively
new song
at
excite
peace.
you?
No.
Were you ever really? I mean, I was never really a big Linkin Park kid, to be honest with you. I never really got into him like that.
I wasn't massive on them, but like I will say I liked the song they released, the most recent one that they released with Chester on it, Lost. Did you hear that one?
I don't think so.
but I'm tired.
Here.
I
Let me get it.
living inside my own confusion.
It is like, very Meteora. Like it's
Yeah, a little bit.
which,
I never really cared for them, to be honest with you. They're fine.
I
Like, I think
liked
their
them
music
back in
is
the day.
good. I
I
think their
loved
music
them.
is good. I just don't. I like people are like legit obsessed with them, and I don't get that.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm not obsessed with them. I don't go back and listen to them all that much, which is surprising because they do fall into new metal weirdly. Like a lot of like the fucking lists that list like the
Yeah,
top new metal bands always put Linkin Park in that
they are
list.
a new metal band for sure, or they were.
Yeah, but like I hesitate to put them in that category, even though they kind of were, because they were never as heavy as the other new metal bands were. They felt like almost like new alternative more than anything in a way. Like
Yeah,
if you would, it
sure.
didn't feel new metal to me. It felt like new alternative, I guess,
Yeah.
which isn't necessarily a genre, but they felt way more commercial than any of these other new metal bands. Like
First couple albums had a lot of breakdowns on them.
yeah, I guess maybe what the difference was is they learned to pivot differently than the other new metal bands did, like Korn and Slipknot and like these other sort of and like Limp Bizkit didn't really pivot going into the 2000s and or like they tried and it didn't work and like Linkin Park was able to pivot and stay relevant, you know? Not that Slipknot didn't stay relevant, but they stayed sort of in the new metal space, as opposed to Linkin Park kind of deviated into a more alternative space, you know?
Yeah, I suppose. I get what you
I
mean.
think, yeah, these new metal bands started becoming metal or metalcore or, something in that vein. And then Linkin Park became alternative as opposed to new metal.
Yeah.
And it felt like it happened really quick. And it also, even when they were new metal, they never felt as heavy as these other bands did, like any of the other ones that are considered the top new metal players. But I do agree that they fell into that because they were sort of leaders in it of like the hip hop, like with metal, like with like breakdowns and DJ, like a turntables and shit and electronics. Like they had all the makings of new metal and they were prime in that era and that's the reason a big part of the reason they blew up is because the era that they were in.
Yeah,
Um,
I suppose.
yeah,
I just, like I said, I just don't really have too much to say about Linkin Park because I just never really was too into their music, to be honest with you.
What was the push away for you? What pushed them away? What pushed you away from
I
them?
just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't really connect with their music, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It
You didn't
wasn't
connect with a
like
lot of new metal though, right?
no, not really.
So I think that's, in all fairness, it never really
Just
a lot of
not.
new
Yeah,
metal.
it's that's not the music I grew up on. I
Yeah.
kind of grew up on like classic rock and like hip hop, and then kind of got into like and like also just like classic like thrash metal and regular like 80s metal, and then I don't know during like early 2000s got into like alternative and like hardcore stuff.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I came up on a lot of shit. But yeah, it felt like mostly like hip hop, gospel, R&B was like my childhood a lot, and then I started getting into like, and when I started getting into rock, I quickly got into metal, I think. And I heard new metal at a young age, but new metal, like, there's only a couple Korn songs I listened to, like some System of a Down. I mean, I think when I was younger, I wasn't as into new metal as I am now, weirdly. Um, so I think it's had to swing back around for me. But I think the reason I like new metal is because of everything I grew up on. It's almost all of that combined in a way. Um, I think that's what I like about it, but I think that's also what a lot of people don't like about it is that it's all those things combined. So I understand it from that perspective too. Where it's like the reason I like it is the reason why a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of times when bands are they're like let's combine all these things. It's like it doesn't feel like they're doing it because it's like oh let's like push our creativity. It's like it just feels like a cash grab. Where you're like I know this will get attention and I know it will probably sell some records, so let's do it. It's not any sort of creative pursuit. It's a money thing a lot of the
Like
time.
who would you put in that category of
Spirit
doing new
Box and
metal?
fucking Megan the Stallion. That is a textbook cash grab.
Yeah, but I mean like a band as a whole doing new metal, not like just like one song.
Mm,
That's
no,
clearly a cash grab because that's a
I don't
collaboration.
really. I'm
You know
not
what I
even
mean?
talking about just like new metal, but like in talking about like and you're talking about like how you like a lot like new metal is like a lot of those things mashed up and how people don't like that. I'm just saying like there's a lot of things in music right now that are just like getting mashed up for basically no reason other than the fact that like the industry thinks it's going to sell. So
Provide some examples for me. I want to know which ones you're sort of talking about here, I
I
guess.
think Bring Me the Horizon does that exact thing where they're like, let's just mash up these sounds because it's gonna sell and our fan base is gonna be like, wow, look how innovative they are. And I'm like, not really. Not
Yeah.
really, dude. Like, I don't know how you can be like, they're so innovative when it's so obvious they have a fucking formula.
I see both sides of that coin. Um, I'm a Bring Me the Horizon fan, and I think they are innovative in some sense, but I do see your point also. In that they are a bit formulaic at this point. They have a formula to it, but I do think they try and always add new shit to it every album. They try and add new shit to that formula in a way. Like it feels like this upcoming album cycle, they sort of added like
Well,
hyper pop to that formula.
them collaborating with Little Uzi Vert doesn't feel like a artistic pursuit. It feels like a cash grab.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that was like sort of a quid pro quo situation too, where like
Yeah.
they did his album and then he did a song with them,
Yeah. It's
I think like, yeah.
let's generate some dollars, dude. That's what that is.
Yeah, it's some dollars. It's also furthering the brand, you know. It's it's the formula of any brand. It's like if you have bigger names attached to your brand, then more people are interested in said brand.
Mm.
And if I guess that's when it becomes a problem for bands is when they start treating their band as a brand, And
Well,
that
that
could be the
is.
death of a lot of bands.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with like treating your band like it's a brand. It is a brand, and a band is a business at the end of the day. But it's like, I
But
don't
when
know,
you're
man.
solely viewing it as that, or when you're
Yeah,
viewing it more as a brand than you are as a band, that's when it becomes an issue. You should probably view them at a pretty equal height, or at least, pretty close to equal. And I think sometimes when brand starts heavily outweighing band, then you got issues, which is where like Slipknot's at this point.
yeah.
Like
I think
they
when you're
are a
more, I think
brand
when you're
over a
more,
band.
I just think when you're way more concerned with your numbers than you are your actual artistical output, and like you're in that sellout space, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. With a Bring Me the Horizon, I wonder at this point. I'm like, I wonder how much they are about the brand and how much they are about the band at this point, Because I know the band is essentially Ollie Sykes now. Like he is the band. He calls the shots, Like
Right.
how the music is made at the end of the day and what goes into the music is yes or no through him. He makes that final call. Like if he doesn't want something in that song, it's not going in that song. If he wants something in that song, it's going in that song.
Sure.
Like, and it's like when it becomes one guy making most of the decisions, then you're in a problem space usually, which is where Slipknot's also at. It's clown. Like it is Sean Crahan making the shots, calling the shots. Like he is the leader there. Like, and so I think that's when it starts becoming a problem. Like he's the creative director when it comes to the music, when it comes to the artistic output of it, when it comes to all of the branding and the merchandising. It's clown. Like, and it's unfortunate when it gets to that space when one person is in charge of it.
Yeah, I mean, it
Especially
comes
when it
like,
didn't start that way.
yeah, and it's way more prevalent in like the pop industry, obviously. It's like than it is in like metal, but it's becoming more of an issue in metal where it's like, oh, the metal record labels are realizing how much money they can make from this bullshit that like the major labels do. So now they're doing it because also I blame TikTok, but like, yeah, I mean, the one of the more like egregious examples in like the pop community, I'm like, was there ever really a reason for Kendrick Lamar to be on a Taylor Swift song? Like, was there ever really an artistic need for that
No, but
in
you
the
know how much money
nation?
was thrown there?
A lot, and that's the point. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Kendrick doesn't do anything unless he artistically wants to, or unless there's a fuck ton of money thrown at him. And that
yeah.
had to be so much money where he couldn't say no.
Had to have been, dude.
And also, he knew the streaming revenue he'd get off of that too,
Or just
Like,
like the residual, you cashing on some of her fan base too, because
yeah.
they'll see him fucking with her and then be like, I think I like him.
Yeah. I don't even think he was probably thinking about that. I think he was thinking about the money in that situation more than anything.
Yeah, it
Because the
had to be
money on a
absurd.
Taylor Swift song
But they
had to
do
be
that.
absurd.
You get my point though, where like the music industry constantly does that, where they're like, let's just put two artists together that really have no business collaborating.
But I mean, the music industry's been doing that for a long time,
Yeah.
Like you go back to the
And
70s or 80s and stuff and you can
works.
find it.
Sometimes it works fucking great and it's awesome,
Yeah.
but 99% of the time it's just like that's a dog shit song, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats. You
Sometimes
guys
it works
cranked
great.
out a steaming pile of shit that went platinum.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I felt like I saw something that didn't make sense to me with two artists collaborating, and I think we mentioned this before, is Tim McGraw and Nelly.
Yeah, and that's a
Like as a
banger though.
kid, it's over and over again.
Yeah, it should
Yeah,
that
that song,
shouldn't
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones where like
It's
that
like
shouldn't work. It most of the time would not work.
I remember when I
But it
heard
just
about it and I was like, I don't like Tim McGraw. Fuck that. And I heard the song is pretty good.
yeah,
Like
it
the
is
next thing
good.
I knew, I had the single on CD. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, I think there's that, there's a lot of examples of it. Um, but yeah, I in my head I always go to the early examples of rap and rock collaborating, which is like Aerosmith and Run DMC, but that one ended up working out great, Like
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
okay. I even that one I think is kind of like grating.
I think maybe now because we've heard it so many times, but back then it was a fucking banger,
I
dude.
never really liked it, to be honest with you. It was all right. I don't know. It's
I
fine.
mean, but you got to think back then it was a banger.
Yeah, sure.
Um, yeah, and then
Agreed.
you know after that followed Public Enemy and Anthrax.
Yeah, that one's a banger.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot in history that have gone down like that, and some of them work great, and some of them are terrible. Some of them come across as more of cash
Yeah. A
grabs, and some of
metal a
them
metal
come across
musician
as like
collaborating with a hip hop musician kind of makes sense, where it's like both of those can be like pretty aggressive like forms of music. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of times it just feels like a cash grab.
yeah,
Yeah.
lots of times. I don't know. Florida Georgia Line's done it too with like fucking
That's the
some
Florida Georgia Line's
country
got to be one
singers.
of the worst musical groups of all time.
Yeah, but they've done a bunch of collaborations with artists of other genres. They are literally like the type of country artist that's built for that. It's so weird. They do it constantly.
They're like responsible for the pop country sound that is like so prevalent in that genre now.
At least partially. I don't think 100%, but they are definitely a part of
They
it.
were they
Yeah.
were like the start of that like really taking off actually. I only know this shit because fucking my dad and his girlfriend were like big country fans, and I remember that band like coming out and being like, "Yo, this is fucking garbage."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're the ones who sort of weirdly bridge that gap. And yeah, they've done a lot of those collabs. But anyways, I don't give a fuck about them.
Nope. They
So
broke
yeah.
up. Fuck them, dude.
Yeah. Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
I read about it in dumb fucking Hick magazine.
All right. Well, that's been the podcast, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in. It's been Unless You Live Hardcore. Follow us on social media at Unless You Live Hardcore. Follow me at I am Kyle Forsyth. Jake.
And follow me at Comic Jake Ford.
I don't know. Other than that, catch
Yeah.
me around Detroit. Come check out Detroit House of Comedy. Come check out 313 Comedy every Sunday at Detroit Shipping Company if you are in the area. Yeah, that's all I got.
Word. Good plugs.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Dun 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 dun.